If Ratchet and Clank were to get a TV series today, here's how it could work. What's really important to consider is the baseline of this series. What makes Ratchet and Clank Ratchet and Clank? Sounds funny saying it like that, doesn't it? There's a reason why I put it that way, and we'll get to that later on in the video. Ratchet and Clank is a series that originally follows the story of a lonesome species called Lombax. This Lombax named Ratchet eventually meets a robot, names him Clank, and turns out they become the best of friends throughout their adventures, even with ups and downs. That is called maturing and evolving. Just that equation, someone who grew up in solitude, meeting a mysterious robot, and then building this deep friendship, not to mention understanding, discovering themselves throughout the process, that's a crucial part that should be studied over and over, especially for a potential TV series. Before we continue, notice how I just said potential series. No, it wasn't outright confirmed or greenlit, but the interest is there. Back in January, during Ted Price's announcement of retirement, 3 new co-heads were announced. One of them, Ryan Schneider, did express interest in revisiting that realm. I think back to the Ratchet and Clank film from several years ago, and we kind of got an early start on that. So of course, we're interested in that kind of thing. We love Ratchet and Clank in particular. For those wondering, this comes directly from an interview by Variety when the topic of on-screen adaptations came up. With that said, I'd like to go back to what I said before. For a Ratchet and Clank TV series to follow its namesake, the show has to follow the adventures of these two right here. I think back to the 2016 movie. The biggest issue, at least from a personal perspective, the movie already lost its roots by having the story focus on Ratchet and Quark. Sure, we have Clank and Ratchet in the movie, but it lost its charm by not having these two side by side throughout the majority of the movie. They took a character, going off the premise of how the series originally started in the early 2000s, that character, aka Captain Quark, slowly grew closer to our duo and grew to become a friend, someone they could now tolerate, a reoccurring character. For an hour-and-a-half length movie, I guess they thought it'd be cool to have Quark, who developed as a character that way throughout the series, take the spotlight in the movie, kickstarting the story. The Ratchet and Clank movie had potential to hold on its own by simply having Ratchet and Clank go through an intergalactic adventure. Just them, facing their own struggles and bumps on the road. One could argue and think, well, you can't fit much in an hour-and-a-half long movie. Although true, point still stands. If you alter the original formula, Ratchet and Clank, this duo going on adventures, undoing that, already could result in issues in the long run. Although I had mixed feelings about the movie, there is one line that I feel really stood out the most for me. Grimroth, who in this universe was Ratchet's caretaker since childhood, said this: "To be a hero, you don't have to do big things, just the right ones." This was really one of my favorite, if not favorite quote from the movie, because it resonates in many ways. For example, replace the word hero with TV show. To be a TV show, you don't have to do big things, just the right ones. Just this message should be the forefront of a possible future Ratchet and Clank TV series. The movie felt like they wanted to do so much, only to result in complete mixed feelings. For a potential Ratchet and Clank series to succeed, it is crucial to get back to its roots. The series started in 2002 on the PS2. Ratchet as a whole, especially how far he's come today, he is a kind-hearted hero to the galaxy, that we know. But we have to remember that he grew up in solitude, probably didn't have many friends in his youth back then, didn't quite comprehend himself or knew how to control his emotions. Sure, he acts as a jerk to Clank in the original 2002 game, but that's how he grew and evolved as the character we know and love today. They both slowly discovered themselves. A TV series shouldn't shy away from Ratchet and Clank going through these conflicts. That's what I'm trying to say. No one knows if directors would aim for a one-to-one adaptation, word-to-word sort of thing for certain scenes, but assuming the show will span multiple seasons, of course if reception and return on investment allows it, scenes where our characters have to deal with their own emotions and struggles shouldn't be compromised. That is the whole point of character development. Sure, Ratchet and Clank is cartoony by nature, but that shouldn't undo the the chances of a deep and rich storyline. Let our characters evolve if they can start with that. Heck, you don't even need to introduce Dr. Nefarious from the get-go. Another thing they did in the movie was having Drek hide in Nefarious' shadow. A TV show potentially spanning multiple seasons should have our characters meet these new bad guys how they did in the early 2000s. Get back to those roots, give it time, and have our characters discover themselves during it all. Thank you for watching. I've been Vivi.